distinguished and influential noble family. His relatives included Rodrigo Ponce de Leon, Marquis de Cadiz, a celebrated figure in the Moorish Wars. Ponce de Leon was also related to another notable family, Núñez de Guzman, and as a younger man he served as a squire to Pedro Núñez de Guzman, Knight Commander of the Order of the Calatrava. A big contemporary chronicler, Gonzalo Fernández de Oviedo y Valdez, states that Ponce de Leon became an experienced soldier fighting in the Spanish campaigns that defeated the Moors in Granada and completed the reconquest of Spain in 1492. Once the war against the Emirate of Granada ended, there was no apparent need for his military services at home. So, like many of his contemporaries, Ponce de Leon looked abroad for his next opportunity. In September 1493, some 1,200 sailors, colonists, and soldiers joined Christopher Columbus for his second voyage to the New World. Ponce de Leon was a member of this expedition, one of 200 gentlemen volunteers. The fleet reached the Caribbean in November 1493. They visited several islands before arriving at their primary destination in Hispaniola. In particular, they anchored on the coast of a large island the natives called Borquén, but would eventually become known as Puerto Rico. This was Ponce de Leon's first glimpse of the place that would play a major role in his future. Historians are divided on what he did during the next several years, but it is possible that he returned to Spain at some point and made his way back to Hispaniola with Nicolas de Ovando. In 1502, the newly appointed governor Nicolas de Ovando arrived in Hispaniola. His directive from the Spanish ground was to bring order to a colony in disarray. One of Ovando's priorities was to complete the subjugation of the native Taínos. In 1504, when a small Spanish garrison was overrun by Taínos in Higüey, on the eastern side of the island, Ponce de Leon was assigned a major role in crushing this rebellion. Ovando must have been impressed with Ponce de Leon. He appointed him frontier governor of the new province Higüey. In addition, Ovando awarded him a substantial land grant along with sufficient Indian labor to farm his new estate. Ponce de Leon prospered in this new role. He found a ready market for his farm produce and livestock in nearby Boca de Uma, where Spanish ships were made a final call for supplies before the long voyage back to Spain. In 1505, he was authorized by Ovando to establish a new town in Higüey, which he named Salva-Leon. By this time, Ponce de Leon married Leonora, the daughter of an innkeeper. They had 3 daughters, Juana, Isabel, and Maria, and 1 son, Luis. He built a large stone house for his growing family, a house that still stands today near the city of Salva-Leon de Higüey. As provincial governor, Ponce de Leon had occasion to meet with the Taínos who visited his province from neighboring Puerto Rico. They told him stories of a fertile land with much gold to be found in many rivers. Inspired by the possibility of riches, Ponce de Leon requested and received permission from Ovando to explore the island. His first reconnaissance of the island Hispaniola on June 12, 1508, and eventually anchored in San Juan Bay, near today's city of San Juan. Ponce de Leon searched inland until he found a suitable site about 2 miles from the bay. Here he erected a storehouse and a fortified house, creating a settlement in Puerto Rico, Caparra. Although a few crops were planted, they spent most of their time and energies searching for gold. By early 1509, Ponce de Leon decided to return to Hispaniola. His expedition had collected a good quantity of the precious metal, but was running low on food and supplies. The expedition was deemed a great success, and Ovando appointed Ponce de Leon governor of San Juan Bautista. This appointment was later confirmed by Ferdinand II on August 14, 1509. He was instructed to extend the settlement of the island and continue mining for gold. The new governor returned to the island as instructed, bringing with him his wife and children. Back on the island, Ponce de Leon parceled out the native Taínos amongst himself and other settlers using a system of forced labor known as encomienda. The Indians were put to work growing crops and mining for gold. Many of the Spaniards treated the Taínos very harshly, and newly introduced diseases like smallpox and measles took a severe toll on the local population. By June 1511, the Taínos were pushed to a short-lived rebellion, which was forcibly put down by Ponce de Leon and a small force of troops armed with crossbows and arquebuses. Even as Ponce de Leon was settling the island of San Juan, significant changes were taking place in politics and government in the Spanish West Indies. On July 10, 1509, Diego Colón, son of Christopher Columbus, arrived in Hispaniola as acting viceroy, replacing Nicolas de Ovanda. For several years, Diego Colón had been waging a legal battle over his rights to inherit the titles and privileges granted to his father. The crown regretted the sweeping powers that had been granted to Columbus and his heirs and sought to establish more direct control in the New World. In spite of the crown's opposition, Colón prevailed in court and Ferdinand was required to appoint him viceroy. Although the courts had ordered that Ponce de Leon should remain in office, Colón circumvented this directive on October 28, 1509, by appointing Juan Saron Chief Justice and Miguel Diaz Chief Constable of the island, effectively overriding the authority of the governor. This situation prevailed until March 2nd, 1510, when Ferdinand issued orders reaffirming Ponce de Leon's position as governor. Ponce de Leon then had Saron and Diaz arrested and sent back to Spain. The political struggle between Colón and Ponce de Leon continued in this manner for the next few years. Ponce de Leon had influential supporters in Spain, and Ferdinand regarded him as a loyal servant. However, Colón's position as viceroy made him a powerful opponent, and eventually it became clear that Ponce de Leon's position on San Juan was not tenable. Finally, on November